Have you ever looked around and wondered why everyone else seems to be moving ahead while your own journey feels completely different? Why some doors open easily for others, yet yours remain closed, no matter how sincerely you try? Before you allow doubt to fill your heart, remember this: the one who created you never intended your story to look like anyone else's. Comparison steals peace, but trust restores it. What if the delays, the detours, and even the disappointments are not signs of abandonment, but carefully chosen steps leading you towards something greater than you can imagine? Stay with me, because this reminder may completely change how you see your life. My beloved brothers and sisters, one of the greatest thieves of peace in our lives is comparison. It enters quietly. It doesn't knock on the door. It simply slips into the heart until you begin to believe that everyone else's life is better than yours. You look around and see someone getting married while you are still waiting. Someone else is building a successful career while you are struggling to find direction. Another person seems surrounded by happiness while you are carrying burdens that no one else can see. Slowly, without realizing it, you begin to ask, why not me? What have I done wrong? Why does my path look so different from everyone else's? But pause for a moment and think carefully. Who told you that your life was supposed to look exactly like theirs? Who decided that everyone should receive the same blessings at the same time? If the one who created every human being made each face unique, each fingerprint unique, and each voice unique, why would he write identical stories for every one of us? The problem is that we spend too much time looking sideways instead of looking upward. We know what our neighbor has achieved. We know what our friends are posting online. We know who bought a new house, who received a promotion, who is traveling, who seems to have the perfect family. Yet we know almost nothing about the private struggles they carry every single day. Every smile you see has a story behind it. Every successful person has faced moments of fear, disappointment, and pain that the world never witnessed. This is why comparison is so dangerous. You compare your reality to someone else's highlight reel. You compare your hidden tears to their public smiles. That comparison is never fair because you are comparing two completely different pictures. Remember something beautiful. Your worth has never been determined by how quickly you reach a milestone. It is not measured by how much money you earn, how many people praise you, or how closely your life resembles someone else's. Your value comes from your relationship with your Creator, from the sincerity in your heart, from your patience during difficulty, and from your efforts to remain faithful even when life becomes complicated. Sometimes we become so busy asking why another person received something before us that we completely miss the blessings already surrounding us. There are people who would gladly exchange their wealth for good health. Others would trade their fame for peace of mind. Some have every comfort money can buy but cannot sleep peacefully at night. Others smile in public while silently battling loneliness and anxiety. Every life has its own test. Every soul carries a burden that may never be visible to others. When you understand this, your heart begins to soften. Instead of feeling jealous, you begin making sincere prayers for others. Instead of feeling defeated, you become grateful for what you already have. Gratitude changes the way you see your own journey. Suddenly you notice blessings that comparison had hidden from your eyes. There is another reality we often forget. Timing is not the same for everyone. A fruit picked before it is ripe is not enjoyable. A seed forced out of the ground before its season will not survive. Everything in creation follows its appointed time. Why should your life be any different? Just because someone reached a destination before you does not mean you are late. It simply means your journey has a different schedule. Perhaps if you had received everything you wanted 5 years ago, you would not have been ready to handle it. Perhaps the person you wished to marry would have brought more pain than peace. Perhaps the opportunity you desperately wanted would have distracted you from becoming the person you needed to become. We often ask for outcomes, while our Lord prepares our hearts first. Looking back, Many of us can already see moments when what felt like a disappointment later proved to be a mercy. So stop measuring your chapter 1 against someone else's chapter 20. Stop believing that your pace determines your value. The one who is writing your story has never lost control of a single page. Your responsibility is not to compete with everyone around you. Your responsibility is to walk your path with sincerity, patience, and trust, knowing that every step has meaning, even when you cannot yet understand it. The moment you stop comparing your journey is the moment your heart begins to discover true peace. Once we stop comparing our lives with everyone else's, another question naturally rises in our hearts. If my journey is unique, then why do so many doors remain closed? Why do some prayers seem to take so long to be answered? Why do opportunities disappear just when they seem within reach? These are questions every believer asks at some point, and there is nothing wrong with asking them. The important thing is where we seek the answers. Many of us assume that every delay is a denial and every closed door is a punishment. We think that if something did not happen according to our plan, then somehow life has become unfair. But what if the delay is not meant to hurt you? What if it is actually protecting you? Think about a child who wants to touch a burning flame because it looks beautiful. The child may cry when a parent pulls them away, believing something wonderful has been taken from them. Yet the parent sees what the child cannot. The tears of the child are real, but so is the wisdom of the parent. In a much greater way, our Lord sees what we cannot possibly see. We live one day at a time, but He knows the end from the beginning. How many times have you looked back at your own life and realized that something you once desperately wanted would have been a disaster if you had actually received it? Perhaps there was a job you prayed for with all your heart, but you were not selected. At that moment, you felt broken. Months later, you discovered that the company collapsed, or that accepting it would have taken you away from your family, your faith, or another opportunity that turned out to be far better. Perhaps there was a relationship you begged for, believing you could never be happy without that person. When it ended, it felt like the end of the world. But years later, you thanked Allah that it never worked out because you saw qualities that would have brought nothing but pain into your life. This is one of the greatest lessons we can learn. We often judge events by how they make us feel today, while Allah allows events based on what they will mean for our tomorrow. Sometimes the greatest blessing is not what He gives you. Sometimes it is what He keeps away from you. The difficulty is that we usually recognize protection only after the storm has passed. While we are in the middle of uncertainty, we struggle to understand. We ask, why is this happening to me? But later, when the picture becomes clearer, we realize that every delay carried wisdom. Every detour had a purpose, and every disappointment redirected us towards something we could never have planned ourselves. That is why patience is such a powerful act of worship. Patience does not mean you stop making effort. It does not mean you sit back and expect life to change without action. Patience means you continue striving while trusting that the outcome belongs to Allah. You do your best, you make sincere prayers, you work honestly, and then you leave the results in the hands of the one who never makes mistakes. The world teaches us to demand everything immediately. We live in a time when people expect instant results, instant success, instant answers, and instant happiness. But faith teaches something very different. Faith teaches us that the best things are often worth waiting for. A strong tree does not grow overnight. A beautiful garden takes time to bloom. Even the brightest sunrise comes only after a long night. Perhaps Allah is not making you wait because He has forgotten you. Perhaps He is making you wait because He is preparing something that requires you to become stronger first. Sometimes the blessing itself is ready, but we are not yet ready to carry it. If it arrived too early, we might lose it, misuse it, or fail to appreciate it. Never think that silence means Allah is absent. He hears every whispered prayer, every tear that falls when no one is watching, every fear hidden deep inside your heart. Just because the answer has not arrived does not mean your prayer has been ignored. There are prayers that are answered immediately, prayers that are answered later, and prayers whose answers come in forms we never expected. Our duty is not to dictate the timing. Our duty is to continue trusting the one whose timing has never been wrong. So if you find yourself standing before another closed door today, do not lose hope. It may simply be directing you toward a door that will bring greater peace, greater goodness, and greater closeness to Allah than you could ever imagine. One day you may look back and thank Him not only for what He gave you, but also for everything He lovingly kept away from you. A delayed blessing guided by Allah is always better than a hurried success chosen by ourselves. When you begin to understand that not every delay is a punishment and not every closed door is a loss, something remarkable starts to happen within your heart. You stop fighting every moment of your life and begin asking a different question. Instead of saying, "Why is my life like this?" you begin to ask, "What is Allah teaching me through this season?" That single change in perspective can transform the way you experience every day. Many of us spend so much time waiting for the next chapter that we forget to live the one we are already in. We tell ourselves, "I'll be happy when I get married. I'll have peace when I find the right job. I'll finally smile when my finances improve. I'll feel fulfilled when my problems disappear." But notice what happens. As soon as one goal is achieved, another one appears. The heart keeps postponing peace, believing it exists somewhere in the future. The reality is that if your heart cannot find peace today, it will struggle to find peace tomorrow as well. Circumstances may change, but an unsettled heart will always discover a new reason to worry. That is why true peace is not found in perfect conditions. It is found in learning to trust Allah in every condition. This does not mean you stop dreaming or working toward a better future. Islam encourages effort, ambition, and excellence. We should strive to improve ourselves, support our families, and make positive contributions to the world. But there is a difference between pursuing a goal and allowing that goal to control your happiness. Your future matters, but it should never steal your appreciation for the blessings you already have. Look around for a moment. There are blessings in your life today that you once prayed for. Think back a few years. Perhaps you prayed for the home you now live in. Perhaps you prayed for the family sitting around your table. Perhaps you prayed simply for another day to breathe, another opportunity to repent, another chance to begin again. Yet because the human heart quickly becomes accustomed to blessings, we stop noticing them. We focus on what is missing instead of appreciating what has already been given. Gratitude has a remarkable way of calming the heart. It does not remove every hardship, but it changes the way you carry those hardships. A grateful heart can smile even during difficulty because it recognizes that Allah's mercy has never stopped flowing. Even on your hardest days, there is always something to thank Him for. The ability to breathe, the gift of faith, the people who care about you, the lessons that shape you, the opportunity to turn back to Him whenever you fall. Sometimes Allah places us in a season of waiting, not because nothing is happening, but because everything important is happening inside us. We often focus on external changes, while Allah is working on internal transformation. He is strengthening your patience, softening your heart, increasing your reliance upon Him, teaching you humility, and preparing you for responsibilities that you cannot yet see. Imagine if every prayer were answered the exact moment you made it. Would you learn patience? Would your dependence upon Allah grow as deeply? Would your faith mature in the same way? Often, it is during the waiting that we become the people we were meant to be. The destination may be beautiful, but the journey is where character is built. Do not waste your current season wishing you were somewhere else. Every chapter of life carries lessons that cannot be learned in another chapter. Youth teaches one lesson. Parenthood teaches another. Success teaches something different from failure. Health teaches one perspective, while illness reveals another. Every season has its own wisdom, and every season brings an opportunity to draw closer to Allah. This is why we must resist the temptation to believe that life begins only after our problems end. Life is happening right now. Your relationship with Allah is growing right now. Your opportunities to earn reward are present right now. The people you love need your kindness today, not only after your circumstances improve. Do not let your heart become so attached to tomorrow that it overlooks the gifts of today. The believer lives with hope for the future, but gratitude for the present. We work hard, we make sincere dua, we continue striving, but we refuse to allow today's challenges to rob us of today's peace. And remember, the season you are living today will not last forever. Joy and hardship both come and go. The only constant is Allah's mercy and His perfect wisdom. Hold tightly to that truth whenever your heart feels restless. Trust that every day has been written with purpose, every moment carries meaning, and every step is bringing you closer to where Allah wants you to be. Peace enters the heart the moment you stop resisting the season Allah has chosen and start embracing it with trust. As you learn to embrace the season Allah has placed you in, another beautiful realization begins to settle in your heart. Much of our anxiety comes from believing the world's definition of success instead of the definition given by our Creator. We are surrounded by messages that constantly tell us who is winning and who is falling behind. Success is often measured by wealth, status, popularity, appearance, or the number of people who admire you. If you have more, you are celebrated. If you have less, you are overlooked. But is that truly how success should be measured? Take a moment and think about it. If money alone could bring happiness, then the wealthiest people on earth would never struggle with loneliness, anxiety, broken families, or sleepless nights. If fame guaranteed peace, then every famous person would wake up with a heart full of contentment. Yet we know that is not reality. We have all seen people who seem to have everything the world offers, but still feel empty inside. They continue searching because the heart was never created to be satisfied by possessions alone. The human heart was created to find its deepest peace through its relationship with Allah. Everything else is temporary. Wealth can disappear. Beauty changes with age. Positions of authority come and go. People's praise can turn into criticism overnight. If your happiness depends entirely on these things, then your peace will always be fragile. Because the things of this world are constantly changing. This does not mean that wealth or success in business is wrong. It does not mean you should stop working hard or pursuing excellence. Islam encourages honesty, productivity, and striving for what is good. You should aim to succeed in your career, provide for your family, and make a positive difference in society. But those achievements should remain tools in your hands, not idols in your heart. The danger comes when we begin believing that our value depends on what we own or what others think about us. That is when comparison returns. We start chasing recognition instead of sincerity. We become more concerned about impressing people than pleasing Allah. We celebrate what is visible while neglecting what truly matters. Think about the people whose names history remembers with honor. It is not because they owned the biggest houses or collected the greatest fortunes. They are remembered because of their character, their kindness, their honesty, their patience, and their unwavering faith during difficult times. Those qualities leave a legacy that no amount of wealth can purchase. Sometimes Allah gives one person financial abundance and tests them through gratitude and generosity. Another person may have limited wealth, but is tested through patience and trust. Neither test is easier than the other. The wealthy must answer for how they earned and spent every blessing. The one with less must answer for how they responded to hardship. In the sight of Allah, what matters is not the size of the blessing, but the condition of the heart that carries it. Ask yourself an honest question. If every title, every possession, every achievement, and every compliment disappeared tomorrow, who would you still be? Would you still recognize your own worth? A believer should be able to answer yes, because their identity is rooted in something far greater than worldly success. Their confidence comes from knowing they are servants of Allah, striving every day to earn His pleasure. When you begin measuring your life by that standard, everything changes. Small acts of kindness become meaningful victories. Controlling your anger becomes a success. Speaking the truth when it is difficult becomes an achievement. Forgiving someone who hurt you becomes a sign of strength. Waking up to pray, helping someone in need, comforting a broken heart, showing mercy to your family. These may never make headlines, but they carry immense value with Allah. Do not underestimate the quiet victories that nobody applauds. The world celebrates what is loud and visible, but Allah sees what is hidden. He knows the tears you wipe away in private, the temptations you resist when no one is watching, the sincere prayers whispered in the darkness of the night, and the sacrifices you make only for His sake. None of these efforts are ever wasted. So when you see someone moving faster than you in worldly matters, do not immediately assume they are more successful. Their journey is not your journey, and their test is not your test. Focus instead on becoming a person of sincerity, integrity, compassion, and unwavering faith. Those are the qualities that remain valuable long after every worldly achievement has faded away. The greatest success is not reaching the highest place in this world. It is reaching Allah with a heart that remained faithful through every step of the journey. When you begin to understand that true success is not measured by wealth, status, or the approval of people, you also begin to see your hardships in a completely different light. The trials that once felt like proof that you were falling behind slowly become evidence that Allah is shaping you for something greater. The question is no longer, why is this happening to me? Instead, it becomes, what kind of person is Allah helping me become through this experience? We all enjoy moments of comfort. We naturally ask Allah for ease, good health, happiness, and security. And there is nothing wrong with that. But if you look carefully at the people who have the strongest faith, the greatest wisdom, and the kindest hearts, you will often notice something they have in common. They have walked through difficult seasons. They know what it means to lose, to wait, to cry, to rebuild, and to keep trusting Allah when nothing around them made sense. Hardship has a way of revealing what comfort often hides. It teaches us what truly matters. During times of ease, it is easy to believe we are in control of everything. We make plans, organize our lives, and imagine that tomorrow is guaranteed. Then, one unexpected phone call, one diagnosis, one financial setback, or one personal disappointment reminds us how dependent we really are upon Allah. While those moments are painful, they also awaken the heart in ways that years of comfort sometimes cannot. Think about gold. Before it becomes beautiful jewelry, it must pass through intense heat. The fire does not destroy the gold, it removes its impurities. Likewise, the trials Allah allows into our lives are not always meant to break us. Very often, they are removing pride, strengthening patience, deepening sincerity, and teaching us reliance upon Him. What feels like pressure today may actually be preparation for tomorrow. Perhaps you are carrying a burden that no one else knows about. Maybe you smile during the day while silently fighting battles in your heart. Perhaps you have prayed the same prayer for years without seeing the answer you hoped for. Maybe you are trying your best to remain patient while watching life move forward for everyone around you. If that is your situation, never think your struggle is meaningless. Allah sees every moment of it. Not one tear falls without His knowledge. Not one act of patience goes unnoticed. One of the greatest mistakes we make is believing that a smooth life is always a sign of Allah's pleasure, and a difficult life is always a sign of His anger. Life is far more profound than that. Ease can be a test, just as hardship can be a test. Some people become distant from Allah because of abundance, while others draw closer to Him because of difficulty. The real question is not what kind of test you have been given. The real question is how you respond to it. Every challenge places a choice before us. We can allow it to fill us with bitterness, or we can allow it to bring us closer to Allah. We can become resentful, or we can become more compassionate, because we now understand the pain of others. We can lose hope, or we can become stronger in faith, because we have seen Allah carry us through what once seemed impossible. When you look back over your own life, you may already notice this pattern. The moments that shaped your character were probably not the easiest ones. They were the days you had to keep going despite disappointment. They were the nights you cried and still chose to trust Allah. They were the times you stood back up after falling, forgave after being hurt, remained honest when dishonesty seemed easier, and continued believing that Allah's wisdom was greater than your understanding. Those experiences did not weaken you. They refined you. They gave you empathy for people who are struggling. They taught you humility. They reminded you that every blessing comes from Allah alone. Most importantly, they brought your heart closer to the one who never abandons his servants. Never think your pain has no purpose. Sometimes Allah delays the blessing because the person receiving it is still being prepared. Sometimes He allows the storm because it develops strength that calm seas never could. Sometimes He removes what you love because He intends to replace it with something that draws you closer to Him. We may not understand every detail while we are living through it, but we can trust that nothing happens without His perfect wisdom. So do not despise the chapter you are in today. Even if it feels difficult, even if the road seems long, even if you cannot yet see where it is leading, continue walking with faith. Every sincere prayer, every moment of patience, every act of perseverance, and every step taken for the sake of Allah is shaping the person you were always meant to become. The trials that test your faith today may become the very blessings that define your strength tomorrow. As we come to the end of this reminder, let us return to the question that may have brought many of us here today. What do you do when your life looks different from everyone else's? What do you do when people around you seem to be moving ahead, while you are still waiting, still struggling, still wondering when your turn will come? After everything we have reflected on today, perhaps the answer is much simpler than we imagined. You keep walking, you keep trusting, you keep hoping, and above all, you keep your heart connected to Allah. One of the greatest tricks of Shaitan is to convince you that you have been forgotten. He whispers that your prayers are going nowhere, that your efforts are pointless, that everyone else is being blessed while you have been left behind. If those thoughts are not challenged, they slowly steal your peace. But remember this, the one who created you has never forgotten you for even a single moment. The fact that your journey is different does not mean it is worse. It simply means it was written specifically for you. Allah did not accidentally place you where you are today. He chose your family, your circumstances, your strengths, your weaknesses, your victories, and even your struggles with perfect wisdom. There is something you are learning on this road that could never have been learned on someone else's. Sometimes we become so focused on reaching the destination that we overlook the blessings we experience while traveling. Every day that Allah gives you is another opportunity to improve yourself, to seek forgiveness, to help another person, to smile at someone who feels alone, to repair a broken relationship, to perform another good deed, and to draw closer to Him. If you wake up tomorrow, it is because Allah is still giving you another chance to write a beautiful page in your story. Never believe that you are running out of time simply because your timeline does not match someone else's. The world tells you there is a certain age to succeed, a certain age to marry, a certain age to own a home, a certain age to achieve your dreams. But Allah is not limited by the expectations of society. He can transform your life in ways you never imagined, at a time you never expected. A single moment of His mercy can change years of difficulty. One opportunity can replace countless disappointments. One answered prayer can make you understand why every previous delay was necessary. This is why hope is such an important part of faith. A believer never gives up because our hope is not tied to circumstances. Our hope is tied to Allah, whose power has no limits. Even when every door appears closed, He can create a door where none existed. Even when people say something is impossible, Allah reminds us that nothing is difficult for Him. So continue making your dua, continue improving yourself, continue treating people with kindness even if they do not appreciate you. Continue being honest when dishonesty seems easier. Continue showing patience when life becomes heavy. Continue placing your trust in Allah even when the answers have not yet arrived. These are not wasted efforts. Every sincere action is seen. Every silent tear is known. Every moment of patience is recorded by the one who never overlooks even the smallest good deed. And if your journey has been painful, let that pain make you softer, not harder. Let it increase your compassion for others who are carrying burdens you cannot see. Let it remind you to be gentle with people, because everyone is fighting battles that are often hidden behind a smile. The peace you have been searching for does not come from having a perfect life. It comes from having complete trust in the one who controls life itself. When you leave here today, I want you to carry one thought in your heart. Stop asking why your story looks different. Instead, thank Allah that your story is being written by the one who knows you better than you know yourself. Walk your path with confidence, not because you know what tomorrow holds, but because you know who holds tomorrow. One day, every delay will make sense. Every hardship will reveal its wisdom. And every step of your unique journey will lead you to the place Allah had always planned for you. Until that day arrives, keep your heart firm, your hope alive, and your trust unshaken. The greatest peace in life begins when you stop chasing someone else's path and walk your own with complete trust in Allah.